What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Balanced Perception YouTube channel. Today I am here talking about something that has plagued me for a while, might cause a few of you some issues, so I'm here to address it, and that is scaling. Specifically scaling with 3D prints. If you guys saw my Space Marine episode where I was talking about how I'm still working on that armor and I had the headpiece, the chest, the shoulders, all that, it took me a while to get that just right to the point where, you know, it sat on me the way I want it. But there was one critical tool that I found and used that really changed everything for me. So I want to talk about that today and hopefully help you guys scale your armor. Here's just an example. I am currently printing some 3D armor. I am printing the Lich King's armor, and it fits right on my arms. I had to print it in sections because I have the Ender 3, but as you can see, it fits on my arm. So today we are going to talk about scaling with your 3D prints. So as I said, today we're going to talk about scaling your 3D prints. Here's an example of how, you know, things turn out after they're scaled properly to your size. So let's go ahead and jump into exactly what I've been using to scale my prints. Okay guys, so here we are in Armorsmith. Armorsmith is the tool that I found was completely invaluable in terms of scaling my prints. So we'll start off with, you're going to want to go ahead and enter in all your measurements. I went ahead and had my girlfriend use a tape measure to get all of my measurements, as you'll see here, my head height, neck length, forearm length, thigh length, all of this. You know, it even goes to cup size. I don't have to use cup size, but you know, that's, you know, you can enter that in if you need. Head circumference, everything. So you're going to want to go ahead and enter in all that information. That right there will create your avatar, which will be exactly those measurements. So this avatar should be a direct recreation of your body's format. So once you have your avatar created and you have an STL file that you want to use, you're going to go to File, Import. So if we jump over here, look at the Lich King's files, let's say we're choosing the chest. We open it, you're going to see that it's loading the STL. This is extremely important that you import the STL and do not open it. So that's what you're going to want to do. So then we have the Lich King chest right up here in the right hand corner. We're going to click Attach Custom Part. Sorry, Costume Part. And I put it right there on, obviously, the chest. Well, as you can see, this right here is not the way that I need it to be, so we're going to go ahead and rotate the part. And then we're going to go ahead and scale the part. So right now, we're just going to go with uniform, and we're going to drag it so that it's all over the course of my entire chest. So as you guys can see now, this part covers my entire chest. But if you look down here a little bit, you can see there's a little bit of a gap. All right guys, so the first thing you're gonna wanna do is get Armorsmith Designer. This tool has been absolutely invaluable when it comes to creating an avatar and getting my measurements right and getting armor to fit. So this right here is Armorsmith Designer. And if we look at my avatar, we will see that I was able right here in the bottom right hand corner to enter in all of my measurements. The head height, the neck length, forearm length, everything. Also, you can see that the measurements are in centimeters. So make sure you're adjusting accordingly. If you're using inches, millimeters, you know, just go over to Google and use a millimeter to centimeter or centimeter to inches conversion calculator. So I had my girlfriend measure me with a tape measure, and she got all of my measurements here, and I entered them all in to Armorsmith Designer. So that's all I'm going to say about that. You know, you guys, that's pretty self-explanatory. Go ahead and get your measurements, your height, everything. Now, this is the part that took me a little while. You cannot directly open STL files in Armorsmith. You have to import them. So we're going to go to File, Import. As you can see, I'm making the Lich King's armor. These are all of the pieces that I'm going to have to print. I've already printed the forearm pieces, but let's just say, for example, we want to print the chest next. So we import it, and as that loads, blah, 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 we have the Lich King's chest over here. I actually double imported, so I'm just going to delete out one of those. So as you can see right here, Lich King chest. So as you can see right here, Lich King chest. We're going to click Attach Costume Part. It gives the costume here on my mouse, and obviously I'm gonna put it on the chest. Well, wait, undo that. I wanna put it on the chest, not inside of the chest. So there we go. Then we're gonna click the part here, right click, go to rotate part. The red one here is what we need to rotate it so that it fits, directly onto my chest. Then we're going to go up here to the left-hand corner, click the move icon and drag it out. So now the chest piece, as you can see, is directly in front of my chest, but it's obviously too small. So what we're going to do next is right click it, go to scale part, and for now we're going to do uniform, which means that as I scale one part, the whole thing is going to move, so it all scales equally. I'm going to drag it out. Oh, you can get it, not that way, drag it out. There we go. Sorry, drag it out a little bit, having a little technical difficulty there. And as you can see, it is now approximately the size of my torso, making it a little bigger. Then we're going to go back up here to move, bring it down a little bit, come to the side. You can see that is about right. We're going to move it onto my body. Boom. Just like that, we've pretty much scaled our armor. It now fits. I know for sure it's going to fit onto my body because it fits onto my avatar. Now that we have the part uniformly scaled across my body, we're going to want to go ahead and individually adjust each part. So we're going to right click, go to scale part and non-uniform. Scale part, non-uniform. So now you can see we can select each of the boxes individually. So let's just say I select the front here. Pull it out. If you look in the bottom right-hand corner here, as I move this part out, my Y-axis is changing. The same will go if I move this part, the X-axis is changing. And if we move this part, the Z-axis is changing. So we're going to take this information and put it into our slicer. I personally use prusiaslicer, so let's jump over there and check out how we enter in this information into prusiaslicer. Okay guys, so here we are in prusiaslicer. I just imported my file. You can see from the measurements over here in the bottom right hand corner, everything is in millimeters and it's extremely small. Just in case you guys didn't know, to import your file, you just go to File, Import, STL, and you select whichever STL you need. So again, here we have it. Everything is set up. It's my Ender, PLA, all of that is already set. So we have our file, it's too small. But if we remember, over in Armorsmith, we went ahead and got our measurements already. So if I click the chest piece here, it fits the model pretty well. I like the way it fits, not exactly, but we're gonna fidget around with it and we're gonna get it to where we want. But we have to make sure we know that the X, Y, and Z on Armorsmith don't link up exactly to the X, Y, and Z in prusiaslicer. What I mean is the Y value here is essentially the girth. It's the depth of the actual item. If we jump back into prusiaslicer and we go over here to scale, zoom in a little bit, and we're looking for the Y axis, that's the X. This right here is the Y. The Y is the length of the item. It is not the depth or like the girth of the item. So we have to adjust accordingly. So let me scale out a little bit, click here. So let's go back over to Armorsmith. We know our depth was 35.3 centimeters. We're gonna have to convert that to millimeters, which is 353 millimeters. If we go over to scale, we remember that this right here is our Y. We don't want to change that. We want to change our Z. Let me change the angle for you guys so you can see. Zoom in a little bit. Oh, getting it just right. As you can see, our Z here is essentially the girth, and that's what we're going to change. We said it was 35.3, which translates to 353. So down here in the bottom right hand corner, we're going to unclick the little lock so that everything doesn't change together, and change the Z to 353. Enter. That shoots it way up here, but don't worry, it's okay. I know it looks crazy now, but that's all right. We're going to keep going. We're going to jump back into Armorsmith. We see here that our other value is the X. That is essentially the width, how wide it's going to be. We have a value of 49.7. We're going to want to change this, the width, which is our Y. to 49.7, which is 497 millimeters. Boom. It's huge. It looks huge, but it's really flat. We obviously don't want it flat, so we're going to jump back in. We've done our X and our Y, and this right here is the Z value. So again, we've changed our length and we've changed our depth, but we have yet to change our width. So we're going to go ahead, click this again. The X corresponds to width in prusiaslicer. In ArmorSmith, we're going to go ahead and see that we have a width of 49.7. So we're going to go down here. 49.7 centimeters is 497 millimeters. And boom, you will see it. This is the approximate size of our chest piece. Again, these are not exact. Everything doesn't translate over perfectly. So we will have to do a little bit of fine tuning, but this is a really good idea of where to get started. As you can see, this is way too big to print in one piece on my Ender 3 V2. So I'm going to have to scale it, or not scale, I'm going to have to slice it into much more manageable pieces. That's going to be for a whole nother episode, and hopefully you guys already have seen some bit on slicing and supports, but that's the next part of what you're going to have to do to get this to print out. All right, guys, so now you're feeling good, you've gotten everything scaled to where you want it to be, you're ready to just go print it and, just not paying attention till the print is done. Well, not exactly. First, what we need to do is make sure that we have everything adjusted right, and we don't want to waste a ton of filament and time. We want to go ahead and do essentially like a test print. And the way we do that is by slicing whatever we just created very, very thin. This right here is a slice of my arm guard, and as you can see, it's very, very thin, but it is the actual size of the entire print. So this right here is the actual one I ended up printing, but this would have been the entire width, height, everything of the print. So this is just a small section. As you can see, this is the very first one I did. It's too big. It is not going to work. So I printed that. These prints took about, I don't know, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, much better than the 2 day, 17 hours that it took to print this. If I would have printed this for 2 days and 17 hours, at this size, I would have been very, very upset because it wouldn't have fit. So I'm very glad I did this first. I printed this, realized it didn't fit. So what I did is I went back over to prusiaslicer and scaled down my actual print. Once I did that, I did it again. I printed another one. It was still too large. So I went ahead, scaled down again, and boom, we have the final one. And right here, I can see that this one fits. I did one of the arm guard at the greatest thickness and like the thinnest part, so at the beginning and the end, so I would know that both pieces fit, and that's what I got here. So now I know for sure that this piece was going to go ahead and fit on my arm. I had to slice it. I still have to glue these two together. This just came off the printer like a day ago or so, and I'm actually printing the other side right now, my left hand. But that's how I was able to scale down this arm guard down to exactly what I needed. And as you guys can see, no problems with the fitting. Once I glue that on, it fits. So that's how I got the scaling correct on my Lich King first piece of the armor. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, you found it useful. If you did, feel free to leave a comment in the comment sections below. Please like and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for checking out my videos and supporting my content. Until next time, stay boundless. See you guys. Bye-bye.